In this video, I'm going to show you how to search for journal articles using CSU Libraries webpage and through the database system, GALILEO. So what you're going to want to do first is go to the library homepage, which is www.columbusstate.edu/library. And it'll bring you to our homepage. There's a few different ways you can search Galileo. I'm just going to show you probably the most general, broad way you can use it, but it's also, if you don't know specifically what database or what journal you want to search through, this is a way, and it's particularly helpful, like in our beginning research phase, if you're not 100% sure what your narrowed down research topic is, or you want to just see what's out there on the topic, this is a great way to do it. And we can, even if the Galileo gives you a million search results or tens of thousands, we can narrow it down pretty quickly to get to the most relevant information for your topic and fairly quickly. So let's use a topic from another student last week who's studying law enforcement burnout, and we'll search, let's say this is our topic. Sometimes it takes a minute to load, so bear with me. Okay. So it is showing that we have 41,270. That's a lot to go through. So, and we're not even going to touch that amount of information. So the first thing we're going to want to do is click on full text, because what this will do is get rid of everything that we don't have access to all of the article. And you may wonder, well, if you don't have access to it, why does it come up to the search results? Because we might have access to the database, we might have access to the parts of the journal, but we just may not have access to that article, and that's a complication of licensing and all of that stuff. But if there is an article that you need where it's asking you to pay money because we don't have access to it, do not ever pay for an article. If you have a couple of days, well, it's usually a pretty quick turnaround. We can request through interlibrary loan. And journal articles can be very expensive, anywhere from $20 to $30 all the way up to $200, sometimes even $300 per article, depending on the database or the journal or the article, wherever it can be quite expensive. So don't ever pay for it. And if we can't get it through another library, we will purchase it through a licensing agreement with the database or the journal, or however. There's different licensing agreements for different things. So that's another class though. All right, so we narrowed down, we already kicked out several thousand results just by clicking on full text. We also already know that we only want journal articles. So let's click on that. And it brings us down to 9,000. So in just a few minutes, and that's only because I'm talking through this process, we've cut well more than half of the initial search results. We can also click on peer reviewed, although a lot of times that doesn't help in narrowing down the search results number. And then time period. A lot of times you're looking at a very specific time period. So it could be, if you're looking at historical research, you might be looking in 20 years ago. In this case, let's just say you want to know this about law enforcement burnout in the past 5 years. So now this gives us 4,000 results, which is still a lot to go through. Most of it is probably not relevant to your topic. So we can click on the all filters, and this will give us more options to kick out results that are completely irrelevant just right off the bat. One way to do that really quickly and easily is language. When you do a search, it's going to search for everything published from everywhere, every geographic location, every language that it's in. So a lot of times you can get rid of quite a few search results by just making sure that it's in the language that you prefer. So in my case, it's English. So if you speak another language, though, it might be helpful to, if you want to in a specific language because you're looking at a specific country. It just depends on what you need. So then another really helpful one that often gets missed is geography. And like I said, it's going to look for, unless we tell it specifically, it's going to look for law enforcement burnout in all US states, all countries, and whether it's talking about the United States law enforcement or if it's, talking about law enforcement in another country published by a journal in the United States. So this helps narrow down, at least the topic of the publication of what's being published. It will, it won't be, you won't find law enforcement burnout in Europe or the UK. So let's select the United States options. And now we're at 235 results, which is a hell of a lot less than when we started out with, which was 41,000. So you can go through some of these and see if they're relevant to your topic, but law enforcement burnout is kind of a broad topic. So you'd want something a little bit more specific. Which type of law agency are we looking at burnout in the federal level, city level, a particular city, or a region of the country? So elements like that, adding geographic search terms. Also, if let's say you go through a few pages of the results and they're not really quite what you're looking for, if you can find one result that is, it's really hits on what you are researching, that can be very helpful in itself. So let's say this is an article or a journal article that, hits the nail on the head. It's really helpful for your research. You click on it, and most of the time they have keywords and search terms provided by the author of the article and by the database, depending on where they're what database they're pulling from the journal article from. So let's say it's PTSD that you're looking at and its effects. What you want to do is don't click on post-traumatic stress disorder, because then it'll go to a search result list of everything from everywhere about PTSD, and that's not exactly what you're looking for. So what you're going to want to do is copy, then add it to your search terms. So click add. And so what this and does, and we'll talk about what these do in another video, but basically if you add and, it'll search for law enforcement burnout and post-traumatic stress disorder. So it'll keep articles that have both of these terms and get rid of articles that have that don't include both of them. Now, if you added or, it'll give you search results for both of these terms, articles that only have one or the other, or both. So this using and helps narrow your search results, whereas using or will broaden the results, because it's looking at a bunch of different options of search results. So that is one. And so just to show you what this can do, sometimes the database gets weird sometimes. Sometimes it'll make you redo your filters. Sometimes it'll be just fine. So, and look, now we have 27 results. So we can really narrow down these search results fairly quickly. And even if we narrow these down to 27 and those 27 articles have nothing to do with your topic, well, hey, pretty quickly that these are not the search terms that are going to help you find your research. Sometimes when you're doing research, it is just a matter of playing around with keywords and the way the journal and journal articles are indexed. Some of these articles are indexed under terms that aren't the most intuitive. You wouldn't think, but using a synonym can often open the floodgates to the relevant information. So I hope you found this helpful for journal articles. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me, message me on Teams, or come to the virtual in-person office hours, or I'm just putting this to remind everybody, if none of those times work for you, I know a lot of you are even taking this class out of the country, just email me. We'll schedule a time that will work for the best of us. I'm required to have official office hours, so I just put, those office hours because that's when I'm typically always in my office. So, but if those don't work for you, though, that's not you can't ever come to office hours. Just contact me. Communication is key, and we'll find a time that works best for the both of us. So, like I said, let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye.